Have you ever stopped to consider what it truly means to take care of your health, especially after the age of 60? It's a question that can feel overwhelming. We're constantly surrounded by a flood of information, from sensational news headlines to complex wellness trends, that often feels contradictory and confusing. Many people feel a sense of vulnerability, wondering if the choices they make today can genuinely impact their long-term well-being. This video is designed to step away from that noise and offer a calm, clear perspective on how our daily lives are connected to our body's internal health. My purpose here is purely educational. I am not a medical professional, and this video does not offer medical advice. Instead, my role is to serve as an informational guide, exploring established scientific knowledge in a way that is accessible and responsible. We will be discussing the connection between everyday habits and reducing the risk of certain health conditions, a topic that is frequently misunderstood. The goal is not to create alarm, but to foster a deeper understanding of how our bodies work, empowering you with information so you can have more informed conversations with your healthcare providers. A common belief is that our health risks in our later years are largely predetermined by genetics or simply bad luck, leaving little room for personal influence. However, this view overlooks a fundamental truth about our biology. The human body has a remarkable and continuous capacity to benefit from a healthier internal environment. The central idea we will explore is this: consistent, moderate daily habits can positively influence your body's natural defense and repair systems, creating a biological terrain that is less welcoming to the development and progression of abnormal cells. It's about building resilience from within. To make this concept clear and practical, we will break it down into 3 foundational topics. Throughout this video, we will explore not just what habits are associated with better health outcomes, but more importantly, why they matter from a biological standpoint. By the end, you will have a clearer understanding of the simplified science behind these connections. The promise is to expand your awareness of the cumulative impact your lifestyle has on your cellular health, helping you make more mindful observations about your daily routines without causing any fear or anxiety. Before we delve into our first topic, if you find value in clear, responsible, and non-sensational health education, please consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like or a comment. Your engagement is incredibly important because it helps platforms share this type of content with more people who may be searching for a calm and evidence-based perspective on their health. It allows us to build a community centered on learning and awareness. Now let's begin by exploring the first pillar of creating a more resilient internal environment for your body. Let's begin our exploration with the first of our 3 topics: the connection between our daily food choices and the internal environment of our bodies. This isn't about creating restrictive diets or labeling foods as good or bad. Instead, our focus is on understanding a fundamental concept: how what we eat consistently can either soothe or stress our internal systems. The goal is to build awareness around how certain common eating patterns, often adopted for convenience, might be contributing to a silent, underlying process within ourselves. It's about looking at our plates with a new level of understanding. The specific risk we are going to examine is the frequent consumption of what are known as ultra-processed foods. These are industrial formulations that typically contain high levels of refined sugars, unhealthy fats, and a variety of chemical additives designed to enhance flavor, texture, and shelf life. Think of packaged cookies, sugary breakfast cereals, frozen dinners, and sugary sodas. These items are often far removed from the original whole food state and are engineered to be highly palatable. The convenience they offer has made them a dominant feature in the modern diet, but their composition can place a unique burden on our bodies. A key sign associated with this risk is the simple normalization of these products in our daily lives. For many, grabbing a packaged snack or a fast food meal isn't a rare treat. It's a routine part of the day driven by busy schedules and lifelong habits. Because these items are so ubiquitous, so heavily marketed, and so socially accepted, it's easy to perceive them as harmless. They become an invisible default choice, integrated into our pantries and our routines without a second thought. This widespread acceptance is precisely what makes the underlying risk so difficult to recognize and address. One of the main reasons this risk is so frequently underestimated is that its effects are not immediate or obvious. When you eat a bag of chips or drink a soda, you don't experience an acute illness. There's no instant feedback from your body telling you that a negative process has been initiated. This lack of a direct cause and effect relationship creates a dangerous disconnect. Over time, it fosters a false sense of security, leading many to believe that since they feel fine in the short term, their food choices must not be having any significant long-term impact on their health. The true nature of this risk lies in its cumulative effect. Imagine a very slow, persistent leak in a pipe. One drop is insignificant, but over months and years, it can cause substantial damage to the foundation of a house. Similarly, the regular consumption of ultra-processed foods acts as a constant, low-level stressor on your body's systems. A single meal or snack is unlikely to cause harm, but when these choices become a consistent pattern, their impact compounds silently over time, contributing to a less resilient internal environment that can become more vulnerable to cellular dysfunction down the road. Take a moment to consider how this manifests in everyday life. It's the decision to opt for a sugary cereal for breakfast because it's quick, or to rely on prepackaged meals for dinner after a long day. It's the habit of keeping a pantry stocked with processed snacks for when you feel peckish. These are not dramatic, life-altering choices. They are small, seemingly insignificant decisions that are repeated daily. They are woven into the fabric of our culture and our economy, making them feel like the easiest and most logical options available, thereby obscuring their collective long-term biological consequences. It is crucial to approach this information without judgment or guilt. The purpose here is not to criticize past choices, but to empower you with a deeper awareness for the future. Many of us have made these dietary decisions for decades without ever being informed about the subtle internal processes they might be influencing. Understanding the connection between these foods and your cellular health is the first step toward making more mindful observations. It's about shifting from a passive consumer to an informed participant in your own well-being, recognizing the power held in your daily patterns. So why do these foods pose a cumulative risk? From a simplified biological perspective, their composition can trigger and sustain a state of low-grade chronic inflammation within the body. This isn't the kind of inflammation you feel from an injury, which is a helpful part of healing. Instead, it's a persistent, smoldering state of immune system activation that can stress cells and interfere with their normal function over long periods. In our next segment, we will delve much deeper into this silent condition and explain exactly how it can create an environment that is less favorable to long-term health. For now, the key takeaway from this first pillar is the recognition that what is common is not always benign. The normalization of ultra-processed foods in our diet represents a significant yet often overlooked factor in our long-term health. Understanding that their primary risk is not acute, but cumulative, allows you to see your daily food choices in a new light. It provides a foundation for observing your own habits with greater clarity, which is the essential starting point for building a more resilient internal terrain for your body to thrive in the years ahead. Now that we've established the cumulative risk associated with certain common food choices, let's explore the silent condition they can contribute to. This is where we move from the what to the why. The human body is incredibly complex, and not all internal processes announce themselves with obvious symptoms. Many significant changes happen gradually, below the level of our conscious perception. The absence of immediate pain or discomfort can lead to a misunderstanding of how our daily habits are truly shaping our internal health over the long term, creating a gap between how we feel and what is happening at a cellular level. The specific silent condition we are discussing is known as low-grade chronic inflammation. It's important to distinguish this from the type of inflammation you are familiar with. When you get a cut or sprain an ankle, your body initiates an acute inflammatory response. This is a powerful, temporary, and highly beneficial process designed to protect and heal the injured area. Chronic inflammation, however, is different. Imagine it not as a roaring fire, but as a slow, smoldering ember that never truly goes out. It's a persistent, low-level state of immune system activation that can affect your entire body. This smoldering state is often fueled by lifestyle factors, including a diet consistently high in ultra-processed foods. Unlike a targeted healing response, this widespread inflammation acts as a constant, low-grade stressor on your body's systems. Your immune system remains on a low level of alert, and this sustained activity can, over time, begin to cause collateral damage. Healthy cells and tissues can get caught in the crossfire of this ongoing, non-specific immune reaction, which is a key reason why it is considered a foundational element in the development of many age-related health conditions. On a microscopic level, this persistent inflammatory environment can be particularly disruptive. The chemical messengers involved in the inflammatory process, when present for long periods, can damage the delicate structures within our cells, including their DNA. When a cell's DNA is damaged, it can lead to errors during the normal process of cell division and replication. Over many years, the accumulation of these small errors can create an internal terrain that is more favorable to the development and survival of abnormal cells, which is why managing this silent process is so fundamental to long-term health. One of the most challenging aspects of low-grade chronic inflammation is that it is, by its very nature, silent. It doesn't typically produce the classic symptoms of inflammation like redness, swelling, heat, or pain. You don't wake up one morning and feel chronically inflamed. Because there are no clear daily warning signals, it is incredibly easy to be completely unaware of its presence. You can feel perfectly fine, go about your day with normal energy levels, and yet this underlying process could be active within your body, slowly influencing your cellular health. This absence of symptoms creates a powerful but misleading sense of security. It's natural to believe that if you feel good, you must be healthy. This is why the connection between diet and long-term risk is so often underestimated. The feedback loop is broken. The daily choice to eat a processed snack or a fast food meal doesn't result in an immediate negative feeling. Without that direct cause and effect experience, it becomes difficult to recognize the long-term biological consequences of a consistent dietary pattern, allowing the silent, cumulative damage to continue unnoticed for decades. This brings us back to the central idea of consistency. A single ultra-processed meal is not going to trigger a state of chronic inflammation. The issue arises from the pattern. When these foods become a dietary staple, day after day, week after week, they provide a steady stream of signals that keep those inflammatory embers smoldering. Your body never gets a sufficient break to fully reset and return to a state of balance. It is this relentless, low-level provocation that transforms a temporary defense mechanism into a chronic, system-wide problem with far-reaching implications for your cells. Think of it this way. Your body has a finite amount of energy and resources to dedicate to maintenance and repair. When it is constantly forced to manage this low-grade inflammatory fire, its resources are diverted. This can make other essential systems, like your immune surveillance and DNA repair mechanisms, less efficient. The goal, therefore, is not to eliminate inflammation entirely, as acute inflammation is vital for healing, but to create a lifestyle that helps prevent it from becoming a chronic, smoldery state that depletes your body's resilience over time. Understanding this silent process is a crucial step toward a more profound awareness of your health. It shifts the focus from waiting for symptoms to appear to proactively cultivating an internal environment that is less likely to foster such conditions in the first place. This knowledge is not meant to cause worry, but to empower you with a deeper understanding of the connection between your choices and your cellular well-being. Next, we will explore the specific common decisions many of us make every day that unknowingly contribute to this inflammatory state. Now, let's connect this silent process to the decisions we make every day, often without a second thought. Consider the reliance on packaged snacks like cookies and chips, or the habit of starting the day with a sugary breakfast cereal. These choices are deeply woven into the fabric of modern life, promoted through decades of marketing as quick, easy, and satisfying solutions for a busy schedule. Because they are so socially normalized and readily available, they don't register as a risk. They are perceived simply as food, and their consumption feels entirely harmless in the moment, obscuring their cumulative role. The same principle applies to our main meals. Replacing a home-prepared meal made from whole ingredients with a frozen dinner or a fast food combo is a common choice, driven by convenience. A single instance is, of course, insignificant. The hidden risk emerges from the pattern. When these ultra-processed options become the default solution for dinner several times a week, they consistently supply the body with the very ingredients that fuel that smoldering, inflammatory fire we discussed. This transforms a seemingly innocent time-saving decision into a long-term biological stressor, creating unintended consequences for your internal environment over many years. Similarly, the daily consumption of sugary sodas and other sweetened beverages represents another socially accepted habit with a hidden dimension. These drinks are often seen as a simple refreshment or a routine part of a meal. However, their high concentration of refined sugar provides a direct and repeated signal that can perpetuate a state of low-grade chronic inflammation. The problem is not the single can of soda, but the consistent daily habit. Over time, this seemingly minor choice contributes significantly to maintaining an internal terrain that is less than optimal for long-term cellular health and resilience. The key insight here is that the risk is not born from a single dramatic mistake, but from the quiet accumulation of seemingly trivial choices that have become normalized. These habits, relying on packaged snacks, opting for convenient processed meals, and regularly drinking sugary beverages, are not moral failings. They are common responses to a modern environment. Understanding their connection to chronic inflammation is not about inducing guilt, but about building awareness. It allows you to see these everyday decisions through a new lens, recognizing the collective power they hold over your long-term well-being. As we conclude our discussion, let's return to our central idea. The belief that our health after 60 is entirely out of our hands overlooks the body's incredible, continuous capacity for resilience. The core thesis we've explored is that your consistent, moderate daily habits can positively influence your body's internal defense and repair systems. The goal is not to achieve perfection, but to consciously cultivate a biological terrain that is less welcoming to the development and progression of abnormal cells, giving your body a better chance to thrive through the years. Throughout our time together, we have explored three foundational pillars for building this resilience. We began by understanding how our food choices can either tame or fuel the silent process of chronic inflammation. We then would have discussed how consistent, gentle movement can boost the effectiveness of your immune surveillance system. Finally, we would have examined the critical role that restorative rest and quality sleep play in allowing your body's natural cellular repair mechanisms to function optimally. Each of these pillars represents an opportunity to support your body's innate health from the inside out. The ultimate purpose of this video is not to give you a list of rules to follow, but to empower you with a deeper understanding of the why behind these connections. Information is the true foundation of well-being. When you understand the simplified science of how your body works, you gain the ability to observe your own habits with greater clarity and make more mindful choices that feel right for you. This knowledge transforms you from a passive recipient of health advice into an active, informed participant in your own long-term health journey. It is essential to remember that this video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. For comprehensive, reliable, and up-to-date information, I encourage you to consult official health organizations. Sources like the National Cancer Institute, NCI, and the American Cancer Society, ACS, provide a wealth of evidence-based resources that can help you continue your learning journey from a place of authority and trust. They are your most dependable allies in understanding health and prevention, free from commercial interests or sensationalism. Furthermore, and this is the most critical takeaway, any decision you consider making about your health, whether it involves your diet, your physical activity, or your daily routines, must be discussed with your doctor or qualified healthcare professional. They are the only ones who can provide guidance that is tailored to your unique medical history and individual needs. Your health is personal, and your decisions should always be made in partnership with a professional you trust, ensuring your choices are both safe and effective for you. Thank you for investing your time and attention to explore these ideas today. The path to healthier aging is not about fear or drastic measures. It is a journey of continuous learning, gentle observation, and growing awareness. By seeking to understand the quiet, powerful connection between your daily life and your cellular health, you are taking the most important step of all. My hope is that you leave this video feeling not worried, but informed, empowered, and more confident in your ability to support your own well-being with clarity and purpose.